It's another week. We are back. This is the hot seat, and this is the weekly Pastor Don Devotional, and we are so happy that you guys have joined us. We have officially 1 week to go until the election, and Pastor Don is here to bless us with another daily devotion, something to think about. And I'm just going to leave this before I pass this over to Pastor Don. Please, people, pray before you vote if you haven't done so already. There's a lot of stuff that you need to know about, and you want to make sure you get the right candidate that has your interests and your situation at stake. It doesn't make sense to vote for somebody just because they're a female. You know, is that female going to do something for you? I mean, that's the whole point of it. You don't vote for people just because they look good. You know what I mean? So, but it's another week. Thank you, Pastor Don, for joining us. You had your big thing this weekend. We're going to get into that after we hear your devotional, but it's your show, so take it away.
Well, again, thank you, Donovan, and good morning to everybody. Thanks so much again, Donovan, for producing this weekly podcast devotional. I recognize the fact that this would never get on the internet without your help. So again, I truly appreciate you. You know, I want to start today, this devotional, with a story. You know, there was a young man, his name was Jonas, and he was a huge Kobe Bryant fan. Now, Jonas, he lived in LA, and he would watch or listen to every Laker game that he could. Well, one time, there's a day that the Lakers were on a homestand, and Kobe Bryant, as well as a couple other Laker players, decided in advance to stop by Jonas's school for an hour to say a speech about the dangers of school bullying. Now, this announcement of Kobe coming to this school was publicized about a month earlier, and all the kids were excited. But to be honest, no one was more excited than Jonas. He was counting down the weeks, then the days, until that exact day when Kobe would be at his school. He couldn't wait in his anticipation. Well, there's one thing I forgot to mention, and that was when Jonas was a small child, he was inflicted with a rare disease that caused his immune system to break down. It was required for him to get shots at least 3 times a month on specific days, or it would affect him terribly physically. And as you would know it, his appointment fell on that exact day that Kobe was going to be at his school. Jonas pleaded with his mom to change the appointment date. Mom even called the doctor to see if it was possible to delay the shots for 1 day. But the doctor was firm that the shots had to be administered at specific times to keep Jonas's autoimmune system working properly. So needless to say, Jonas went to his doctor's appointment and missed seeing his favorite player at his school. You can only imagine how sad a day it was for Jonas. His one big opportunity to have something amazing happen in his life, and he missed it. Well, it happened to be that the principal at the school heard about this unfortunate situation regarding Jonas and this mandatory doctor's appointment. So when Kobe was at the school principal mentioned to him about Jonas and the fact that he was probably his biggest fan, but would miss him that day for reasons outside his control. So Kobe Bryant arranged to have 2 tickets at the ticket will call booth for the next game on the schedule. But even better than that, Kobe has also arranged locker room passes so that Jonas could meet Kobe and all the other Lakers before the game. So if you think about it, in essence, Jonas did not miss out completely and was actually even more blessed in being able to meet Kobe and enjoy the game on the ground floor. It ended up being a huge blessing for Jonas. So you might be thinking right now, well, that's a cute story. What in the world does that have anything to do with this morning's podcast? Well, in one word, everything. I know that there were a few of you, many of you, that wanted to attend my Meet Pastor Don event last Saturday and be part of God's movement to plant his church in the Rancho Belago area. But for many different reasons, you were not able to make it to Vista Lomas Park last Saturday. And maybe you felt a little disappointed about that. But just like in my story with Jonas and Kobe Bryant, you still can be a part of this adventure even if you did not have the chance to attend my event. Now, I'm not sure if you're as enthusiastic as my friend Jonas in meeting Kobe with this church plant, but God may have touched your heart in such a way to motivate you to want to be a part of this process. And I want to tell you this morning that it is definitely not too late. In a couple minutes, I'm going to give you all the information about our first core group gathering for this church plant. And even though you missed the meeting, I am excited to invite you to this gathering and be a part of this church plant process. God does not want anyone to miss this awesome opportunity, and either do I. So please continue to listen to this devotional as I will give that information at the end of this podcast. But I want to talk a little bit about another subject here just for a minute. Jesus teaches us in Matthew 22:21, give to Caesar what is Caesar's, give to God what is God's. So you might be thinking, what exactly does that mean? Well, what it means is we need to give God all of ourselves in prayer, God's word, service, and living as a reflection of Him. God teaches us in 1 Corinthians 6:20 that He bought you and I at a price as believers, and we need to honor Him with everything that we have. But there's also times that we do need to give back to Caesar that belongs to Caesar's. And that could easily be interpreted in our responsibility to vote next Tuesday, November 8th. We are blessed to live in a country that gives us the opportunity to vote for whoever we choose in these elections without duress. We can choose whoever we want for president, for mayor, or councilman, or anything else, and not be in fear for our decisions. But with these rights comes responsibility. You and I need to exercise this right and make sure our voices are heard on November 8th. Please don't make the excuses that you are too busy, or your vote means little, or it's all too confusing. It is important that we all do our civic duty because our livelihood is on the line, especially in this year's election. Folks, we are living in difficult times, and in my opinion, we are living in the end times. Our voting in this election may be the most important ever in the history of our country, our state, our city, and our districts. We cannot be apathetic or disinterested because the stakes are way too high. Now, it is not my job to tell you who to vote for, and I bet you probably wouldn't care what I think anyways. But here is what I do want to tell you. I'm going to reiterate a little bit about what Donovan mentioned at the beginning of this podcast. Before you vote, please pray. Pray that the individuals that you vote for truly have the best interest for you and your family at heart. Please pray that the people you vote for have the character, integrity, and godly values as you do, that those individuals will protect you and fight for your family. Please pray that the people you vote for actually want to work for you and your family and not just talk about it during election time. And please pray that any amendments that you vote for or against will follow God's word in its intent and execution. In other words, folks, please allow God to lead you in this process. Allow His light to shine on your ballot as you make the choices from His point of view. And then the results is totally up to God. I would appreciate it if you would please do two things for me. Number one, no matter what, go out and vote. And number two, let God lead you in your decisions. So let me get back to the first core group. Let me give you some information for our first core group meeting of our Reflections Moreno Valley Church plant. We will be meeting on Monday, November the 14th at Renewal Christian Fellowship in Moreno Valley. The address is 14093 Business Center Drive, which is right off Ellsworth Street between Alessandro and Cactus. It is literally on the same street as the animal shelter off of Ellsworth. We will be discussing the vision and the purpose of this church, plus the necessities needed for a church plant. We will have food and drink, and I'll tell you, we will be laughing and having awesome fellowship. And I will also be introducing a Bible study called Planning a Church God's Way. It will be a wonderful time as we lift off on the ground floor on expanding God's kingdom here in Moreno Valley. you will not regret being a part of this core group. So I'm asking you to please make your plans to be there at Renewal Christian Fellowship on Monday, November 14th at 6:30 p.m. If you have any questions, you can call me or text me at 951-522-1749, or you can email me at reflectionschristianfellowship@gmail.com. Or, of course, you can always instant message me, my name, Don Meinberg, Meinberg. You can do that at any time. Folks, it's time to get started preparing the fields for God's new church. Let's do it together. God bless you, and have a wonderful week.
All right. Thank you, Pastor Don. That was, again, always something that I look forward to every week. And, as we do the radio show on Wednesdays, even when we meet people, you see people that say, hey, your daily devotionals, weekly devotionals really keep us going. They really like them because they are very, very good. And what's that? Imitation is the best form of flattery, as you see a lot of pastors now are trying to do what you're doing. So that's a very, very good thing. But I want to talk about real quick the thing that happened Saturday. A lot of people were there. And I heard that weather was beautiful. The park was beautiful. Some people did sign up for the contacts and things like that. So now that is done, and we're going to go to the meet and we already did the meet and greet, and we're going to the
core group meetings.
What is the overall vision that you want to go? What direction do you want to go in that aspect?
Well, again, I was really excited for Saturday at the Meet Pastor Don event. Yeah, there was definitely people there, and a lot of people had a lot of great questions. And few people was not in a position to be part of this, and a lot of people were. So it was really a very informative time. It was a blessing. And everybody seemed like they were excited about what we're trying to do in Rancho Belago. The vision is basically we want to start a church plant movement in Rancho Belago. The one thing that everybody that I talked to on Saturday agreed is that there are no churches in Rancho Belago. I mean, you have to go north up towards the freeway to find some churches up there on Alessandro. But down around Iris and the areas of Rancho Belago, there's literally not one church.
Right. A lot of people in that area, from my understanding, don't even go to church in Moreno Valley. They go to San Bernardino, Riverside.
It's interesting you said that, because some of the people I met on Saturday said the same thing. They have to drive to the Sandals up in Riverside or Harvest, or even out to the Rock in San Bernardino, because there's nothing here that in their own community. So that part was really exciting for many of the people. But again, back to the vision is we want to make a church in Rancho Belago a community church that the people can get together and live life together as a reflection of Jesus. It's more than just a Sunday morning service. It's more than just, singing a couple songs and then listening to a message and then I'll see you next week. It's living life. People struggling with family issues, struggling with jobs, struggling with their children, or whatever. We want to be part of that core group, support group for them, that we can live life together, build each other up in Christ, and allow each of us to be able to allow Jesus to be the focal point of us. And that you can do that in a community church.
Right.
It's hard to do that when you're going to a church 15, 20, 25 miles away.
Right.
So that's what our goal is. Our goal is to build people up, have a heart for the lost, and allow Jesus to really shine in Rancho Belago.
Right. Now, here's the thing. I'm just going to speak as somebody who looks at this church plant. I say, wow, this is going to be a lot of work. And when you look at all the work that you got to deal with in starting a church and building it, like I said, I'm working 40 hours, 60 hours a week. I don't have time to spend with my kids and stuff like that. I mean, and a lot of people had asked that. Well, how much time would I have to put into this church build? Or, it's the way I look at it is anything that's worth doing is you're going to sacrifice. It's going to be tough, but the end result is when that thing is done and where it's supposed to be, then you look back and you say, wow, man, I can't believe we did all this after all of that. But a lot of people that I've talked to when at the event, or people that contacted me, were saying like, I'd like to get involved, but I'm just so busy. What can you say to make them think about getting involved.
Well, it's true what you said. Anything worthwhile is going to take work. I mean, it's almost like you get what you pay for. If it's free, that's what you're going to get. I mean, anything that's got a lot of value is going to take time, effort, and work to get it accomplished. But the way we're structuring this, Donovan, we're not structuring it that we are doing it in a way that is not going to maximize your time. I'm actually wanting more of understanding how you and your experience, some of the people your networking, things that you can bring to the table that can be related to a church plant. It's not as much the work. It's more the idea of planning together a church. And that's mostly, thinking about brainstorming ideas, coming up with plans, and then getting a few of us executing some of those plans. I told some people, because a lot of people ask me, gosh, I'm already going to a church. How can I be part of your church plant? And I said, it's really, really simple. We're not meeting on Sunday mornings. You still can go to your church and enjoy your worship. But what you're doing is you're starting something brand new for God. It's almost like a ministry outside your church, but it's actually building God's kingdom. So can you do both? Absolutely. Right. And you may decide at the end of when the church is starting that you want to go back to your other church. That's awesome, as long as you're getting fed. But then a lot of you may decide, no, I want to be part of this foundation. I want to watch it grow, see it grow. And I'm telling you, yes, it's work. I'm not going to lie about that. But the work is so fulfilling.
Right.
We're going to laugh. We're going to cry.
Yeah.
We're going to think. We're going to brainstorm. And we're going to do this God's way. We're going to do a lot of praying. And I'm telling you, I have done this before in Paris, and there's not one person who was part of that church plant core group that has said, boy, this was a waste of time, or boy, this was too much. They were all fulfilled, and they all thought it was one of the best experiences they've had.
So basically, one way or the other, we're moving forward with this on faith. I mean, God's going to do all that.
Absolutely. That's funny. As a businessman, you need faith in everything, but as a businessman, you can kind of create your own success. Right. You work hard, you do things right, you create your own success. When it comes to a church plant, you can do everything perfect, and God can still close the door on it. But yes, it's all faith, Donovan. I'll tell you, and it's a praying and allowing God to open the doors and allow God to lead. It's completely faith-based. But you know what? I know by visiting with a lot of the folks in here in Moreno Valley, I see that they want this.
We have a need.
I see that they have an excitement for it. Yes, there's a little apprehension, and I don't blame them. I would be too. But once you're involved and once you see the fruits, it'll be one of your best experiences.
Right, absolutely. So again, if you happen to have missed the Meet Pastor Don, it's still not too late. Pastor Don is here every Tuesday on Day Street. And it's getting a little colder, so we're going to be moving to Edgemont Studios, which is, and we're going to give you the address for that. But you can still contact him via email, messaging, call him, whatever you do. You can contact us here. We can pass the message on. No problem. So if you did not attend the Meet Pastor Don, you need to meet the guy. I mean, the guy will talk to anybody. He's really a really down-to-earth type. Put it like this. Like I said, remember, I'm a Catholic. He doesn't run around in a $300 suit. Gator shoes, and got the pimp hat and all that, the nice ride. I mean, he has a nice car, but he doesn't have like the Bentley and bodyguards around him. So, I mean, he is approachable, very, very nice guy. I mean, everybody says one of the best things that I've done on this show was to beg Pastor Don to come on and give us a weekly devotional. And when he comes on the radio every other Wednesday, people love it because it's funny, and he kind of keeps us in line with that. But Pastor Don, we're here every Tuesday. Like I said, it's never too late. If you got any ideas, any comments, I mean, he wants to hear that kind of stuff. I mean, please don't be too graphic in your comments. I get that myself, so please differentiate Pastor Don or me. But we're here on Day Street at 10 o'clock every Tuesday. And Pastor Don, he has another appointment to go to, and he's running all over the city. Great event Saturday. We're going to move forward regardless of that. And I think it's even going to get bigger now that the election is coming to a close. And everybody's going to be refocused. And it's getting a little colder, so people want to do things indoors. So, anytime to do that. So please, you guys, go out there, vote Donovan Sadiq in the 1st District. I have to be biased about that, but I think he's the only guy that has done anything. If you look at all the candidates and you combine all of those candidates and you ask them, even the candidates that were recalled that sat on the seat for 2 years and the one that's currently on there for 2 years, if you combine all the 7 candidates in District 1, and take me out of the equation, and you say, out of all of these 7 candidates, what have they all done? It's going to come to a total of 0. I'm talking about what they've done for the community. It will come to a total of 0. And I want you to think about that when you go into that voting booth. Do these candidates do for the community, or do they do for themselves? And of course, I'm in it to win it. And even if I don't win it, I'm not going anywhere. So I want you guys to know that. But please vet these candidates, look into your heart, and look at your interests. If you look around your neighborhood and your yard and your neighbor's yard looks like hell, or you don't have any sidewalks, ask yourself, well, this lady was the councilman for 2 years. What has she done in 2 years? What did the recalled council person do in 2 years? These are the kind of questions you got to ask yourself. Who is getting stuff done and why? And if you go by that and you put a little prayer on it, you can't go wrong. It has been a great week. Again, it's pretty tight in the elections. Don't let the emails and all that other craziness get to you. Look into your heart, pray to God. And again, Pastor Don, thank you so much for this week. And we look forward to next week, and keep us abreast of how the church plant is going.
Thank you, Donovan.